Hello, everybody, and welcome to Attendance Bias. I am your host, Brian Weinstein. Before we get started with today's mini episode, I just want to remind everybody that if you enjoy this podcast, you can show your support by leaving a rating and a review of it wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also visit www.buymeacoffee.com/attendancebias and donate anything you can to keep the podcast going. Now, today is not a full episode of Attendance Bias. It is a preview of a preview. Let me explain. Last year, leading up to Phish's summer tour 2025, I thought it would be fun to do a deep dive into the two new venues that Phish was playing. Forest Hill Stadium in New York City and Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. I usually keep an eye on the online Phish community on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, Reddit, wherever people are talking about Phish online. I like to be there. I like to read about it, and I like to contribute every once in a while. It seemed like fans at the time had the most questions about those two venues, Forest Hills and Folsom. I was lucky to find people who were willing to come on the show and pretty much answer a Q&A about each venue, because online, there was no end to the amount of questions, the amount of information people wanted to know about those two new venues. And it ended up being the same format as a regular Attendance Bias episode, except the episode was about a venue and not a particular Phish show. Then a friend recommended that I shouldn't stop at Forest Hills and Folsom. Instead, I should record an episode for every venue on the 2025 tour. I love doing it, so that's what happened. I was very proud of it, and by the end, I felt like I could hop on tour at any moment and know everything I needed to know about any given venue. So, fast forward to February of this year. Once Phish announced their 2026 summer tour, I felt that impulse to record another venue preview miniseries. You know when you feel that feeling that says, this is going to be difficult, it's going to take a lot of work, but I really, really, really want to do it? Once I saw the tour, that's the feeling I felt. I immediately went to work, so I contacted friends, I worked through a few false starts, and I did a ton of research of places I've never visited. I mean, sure, I could tell you the basics of seeing a show at Merriweather Post Pavilion, but the Enmarket Arena in Savannah, Georgia, it may as well be Taiwan. Plus, I had to think of ways to preview the most familiar Phish venues, like how exactly does one give a heads up about seeing Phish at MSG or Deer Creek? In short, I had my work cut out for me. Regardless, that's just prelude. The next 10 weeks, starting next week, the 13th, the next 10 weeks of Attendance Bias episodes will sound like that. The 2026 Summer Tour Venue Preview Series. Now that the 3 weekends at the Sphere are finished, here are Phish's next stops, along with the guests who will tell us all about each venue and the city. July 7th and 8th at the Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin, we have Mike Lancaster. July 10th, 11th, and 12th at Deer Creek, Ben Carley. July 14th and 15th at the Enmarket Arena in Savannah, Georgia, will be with my friends Earth and Jesse. July 17th at Walnut Creek in Raleigh, North Carolina, Brian Rogers will be there to give us the guide. July 18th and 19th at Merriweather Post Pavilion in Columbia, Maryland, our familiar friends, Skinny and JW from the Stub Me Down podcast. July 21st at the Lakeview Amphitheater in Syracuse, New York, we'll be with Beth Ann Kempf. July 22nd through the 29th at Madison Square Garden, we'll be with friend of the pod, Megan Gliona. July 31st and August 1st at Fenway Park in Boston, we'll be with Dave Hamilton. Finally, September 4th through 6th at Dick's, we'll be with Stacy Ledden. So whether or not you're seeing a show at any given venue on the tour, I would recommend listening to each episode. The fun part is it gives you a flavor of what it's like to see Phish at that venue and what it's like to be in that city. And you know me, I can't help but research and dig into Phish lore. It also gives us Phish's history in any given venue when appropriate. In short, I loved it. I do want to take a moment to thank every single guest that I just named for being generous with their time and their knowledge. If you want to know what to do if you arrive in Madison a day early or end up staying a day late, are you a barbecue fiend and you want to know the best place to stop in Raleigh, North Carolina? You need to know how tight security is in Savannah? These guests have you covered. To wrap it all up, just a few notes. This coming Monday, May 11th, Phish.net will post a blog entry that I wrote that details some of the small takeaways from the 10 deep dive interviews about summer tour. It may feel like it's a long time away in May, but it's never too early to get excited about Phish summer tour, especially for those of us who couldn't make it to Las Vegas or Mexico earlier this year. I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy this series. Finally, just one housekeeping tip. Please remember, I do not release new attendance bias episodes while Phish is on tour. That's the time to just pay attention to what's happening now and just enjoy this summer. The venue preview series proper begins next week on Wednesday, May 13th. My friend Mike gives us all the information we need to know about the Kohl Center in Madison, a venue that the band hasn't played since 1998. I hope you enjoy it and have a great summer tour. And because this is attendance bias and I can't let an episode go by without some music, in anticipation of next week's episode, please enjoy this outstanding version of Simple from the Kohl Center, played on November 6, 1998 in Madison, Wisconsin.